We're Candace
and Tanya. We're sisters, we're moms, we're wives.
And we're from the True North, strong and free.
And we're letting you in on our real life experiences, struggles, weirdness, finding the funny in the random every day.
And those moments that make you shake your head. We all have them. Those moments that make you say, honest to God.
Honest to God!
Party people, welcome back to our Honest to God podcast. I'm Candace.
I'm Tanya.
And we're coming at you from, again, our traveling headquarters.
We're here.
But today we have a special co-host with us. We have Ali, who is Tanya's sister-in-law. Her husband is Mitch's brother. So their husbands are brothers. And I consider her my sister-in-law also, just because she's...
Yeah. Family by choice, for sure.
Yes, definitely family by choice. So say hi to everyone, Ali.
Hello, everyone.
Say hello to our potty rockers.
Potty people.
Potty people in the house.
It's honestly on my bucket list to be on a podcast, as you know, Tanya, so I'm extremely excited to be doing this. So I feel awesome right now.
I want to know what else is on that bucket list. What else can we check off? Can we check off anything else during this episode?
Right.
Thanks, guys, for listening to our podcast and for any previous podcasts that you guys have checked out. We can't tell you how much we appreciate your support, your awesome comments, you tagging us and showing us what you're doing while you're listening. We immensely appreciate your support and the time that you take out of your day to listen to our podcast.
We're stoked.
We are pumped.
Yes, I saw someone painting and listening on your story. That was awesome.
It's a masterpiece in the making.
Potty rockers.
Potty rockers Peyton. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool to see what everyone's doing.
Yeah.
I love it.
I just can't believe that people actually take out the time out of their day to listen to us.
I know.
I think it's just, time is precious.
Seriously, Mark and I, so this is what we do to listen to you guys. We go in the car and drive. It's an hour long. We put the kids. We have 2 kids, by the way. We put them in the car and we drive around our small town for an hour listening in the car. We have nowhere to go or do. We just listen to it. We laugh. The other day we argued after your podcast. We were arguing about laundry. We Googled the love languages. We guessed each other's top 2. We discussed it. So yes, so we totally get in the car, go get coffee. We just drive around. That's why I always take it. And we're actually just driving around for an hour listening to it.
Oh my gosh, I love that so much. That's fantastic.
We're going to make an adventure out of this.
Yes.
I love it.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Well, in that case, if I know you guys are listening to this in the car, I got to give a special shout out. My niece and nephew, Jet and Camden.
Jet's going to be pumped. He literally said to me, because he thinks Aunt Tanya is on the radio. So that's what he said. He's just like, will you say, and I told him where I was going. He said, will you say my name on the radio? So Jet, yes, I will.
Special shout out to Jet.
Yes, oh, sweetest ever.
I love that.
Oh, frig. So how was your week?
My week has been hectic and busy.
Yeah.
Yes.
The huge.
Yeah, that's pretty much the norm.
Working.
Pretty much the norm. I will say, though, over the weekend, you'll never guess who I saw. Well, you will guess who I saw because you were with me, but Ali, you will never guess who I saw.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Tanya seems more excited than you. Tanya wants to know more, and she was there.
I feel like I'm building this up much more exciting than it actually is, but I saw Ada.
Oh, Ada.
Anybody who's seen the mukbang video introducing this podcast knows who Ada is.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Oh, that was so random. We were sitting in a restaurant yesterday, Tanya and I and our husbands and my daughter, and who walks in but Ada.
Ada. Candace and I filmed mukbang video eating sushis and taco for a YouTube video, and our Skip the Dishes driver's name was Ada, and she took a very long detour to bring the sushi.
Yes.
So So we were talking about her, never thinking we'd see her again.
Yeah, and then boom, there she was. I'm like, oh my God, it's Ada. I felt like I had to hide, like she knew I had talked about her.
Right?
You never know who you're going to run into again.
Seriously, you never know who you've made an impression on or
I know.
or anything.
I felt like she looked at me like she knew.
Yeah.
I couldn't look at her.
I have people who I'll maybe see, and I'm like, whoa, that person is beautiful. I mean, they're so cool, or they have the best style. And I'm thinking about them or talking about them to someone else later. And I'm like, I wonder if there's anyone that looks at me and talks about me.
I think there is.
I'm sure there is. I'm sure there is.
Yeah, you never knew. You
Never knew.
You never know who you're influencing.
Yeah.
It's true,
Who's
actually.
watching?
Yes.
Yeah. You never know what's going on in people's lives.
Be on your toes.
Yeah, be on your toes. I'm on my toes right now. I'm not on my toes. How was your week, Allie?
Oh, well, over the weekend, my nephew was born. So,
Oh,
yes. Yes, so we were up
Congratulations.
late. Thank you. His name is Ethan. And yeah, he was
Aw.
born Saturday night. And he's 8 pounds, 15 ounces. He was a week early. So,
Oh.
yeah.
my
So I'm
gosh.
sure my sister's very happy he came a week early.
Yeah.
8 pounds, 15
Big
ounces
boy for a week
now.
early.
Yes, and he's very sweet.
I
Yes.
saw his picture. What a little cutie.
Yeah, he's so alert. When I saw him, I was like, "You're not a newborn." Like, first
Yeah.
he's huge, and then also
Yeah.
I'm so alert. Like, you're
Yeah.
not a newborn.
And you're
I
walking.
actually made a little video of him, like while everyone was just talking and stuff, and like he was only an hour old, and I was just like, "That's like so cool to have." And
Yeah.
so I sent to them
it
as a
is.
keepsake, and yeah, he was literally an hour old, and I just have this little video of him laying on my sister. So yeah, it's really cool.
Oh, that's so sweet. That's so
Memories.
sweet. Speaking of babies,
Mm-hmm.
that happens to be why we're here today. What we're going to talk about today.
What a convenient transition.
Yes. Moms and babies. Yep.
Yes. So what do you say, Tan?
I say,
Hashtag, let's get this party started.
Honest to God.
Okay, guys, we are attacking the topic of mom shaming.
Mhm.
Ouch.
Ouch.
Mom shaming. I'm sure
We
all
all
of
know
you
them.
moms out there have fell victim to mom shaming
Mm-hmm.
at one point or another in your time as a mama.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about that today.
Yeah. Let's dive in.
Okay, so I will start with saying that mom shaming starts from the time that you are pregnant.
It actually does.
It does.
though. Absolutely. Yes.
I know this from experience that when I was pregnant with my son, I was 19 years old. I was very young, and I felt so judged by everybody
Mhm.
because I looked young.
Yeah.
Everybody looked at me as, the typical teen mom.
Yes, they make you feel like you almost have to explain yourself or something.
Yes,
but it's
like-
just like I don't even know you. Why? Like,
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
they totally make you feel that way.
I probably don't even know the father. I don't know who my baby
Right.
daddy is.
Mhm.
You
a
know,
lot of assumptions.
Exactly,
yeah.
right? And I always felt like I had to make it known or make my wedding rings visible
Right.
or
Oh,
something
for
like that to
sure.
show that,
It's like
I,
overcompensate.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I felt like I had to explain myself or justify myself to these strangers who
Mhm.
are judging me without knowing anything about me.
I even feel like that, and I'm 31 years old. I always forget how old I am. And been married for 9 years now, and I still feel like I can't forget my wedding rings because I feel like, I don't know. It's a weird
you'll
thing.
be judged.
Yeah.
Even if you are old enough to have a child, if you're
Yeah.
not married, are people going to look at you?
For sure. And we all
Mhm.
worked, in customer service, so we saw multiple people a day.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you just, there's always going to be that one. So you totally
Yeah.
just feel like you have to explain yourself. You have to,
You just feel the judgment.
Absolutely, for sure. So when I was pregnant with Jet, I was 23, but I looked much younger. Which everyone, would point out, and you just
Yeah.
get the comment, "Oh, aren't you too young to be pregnant?" or things like that.
Yeah.
And I was not married or engaged at the time, so
Yeah.
a whole new storm of comments would come in,
Yeah,
and
Right.
comments, So I'm guessing this was a surprise, things like
Yeah.
that. It's just like, oh wow. So yeah, it definitely.
It's actually
starts-
none of your business.
Absolutely, right? Yeah, like whether
If
that's
it
a
was
family
surprise, I'm
Yeah,
pretty pumped about it. So,
stranger or
yeah.
family members, it's like, nope, don't have to answer that. But
Yeah.
yeah, the comments start literally as soon as you're pregnant, pretty much.
Yeah, and that's the
Yeah.
thing. Like, you do not owe anyone a reason or a response. Like, it's no one's
No.
business. Like,
I
unless
totally
you want to
agree.
make it their business.
Yeah, exactly. You have no
Right.
idea what the circumstances are surrounding how, or, what's going on in that person's life. You have no idea.
And that's what makes mom shaming like such a sensitive topic, I think, because, it could be, one little comment that, that person just walks away, doesn't faze them, but you might think about it for the whole day now, it actually really does affect you. And probably because, there's a whole story behind it, whether,
100%.
no matter what the comment is, or there's, breastfeeding, whatever it is, there's a whole boatload of comments, but there's always a story behind it, and people forget that for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
And people are, and I mean me included, you have your opinion, and I think the top things that people get mom shamed for, people are very strong one way or the other.
For sure.
Right.
So
it's
a hard topic to discuss, because if people aren't on the same side of the page as you, you're very opinionated
for
Yeah.
sure.
Totally.
And nowadays, I feel like people just think like their opinions, are facts, or like because it's their opinion, they think they're right. When no, it's just your opinion. Like
and how could you possibly think otherwise?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
rather than like being happy to hear other people's opinions. Sometimes I love hearing about people's different parenting styles and different ways they do things.
Yeah.
It really doesn't, I love hearing different ways. So yeah, it's unfortunate that some people's, as soon as they hear opposite of theirs, it's attack mode, and you see it online, in person, everywhere now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember being like, I felt like I was attacked online once on a mom group.
Right, I remember this.
Supposed to be like super supportive.
Yes, one of those.
Totally the opposite.
Yeah.
And that's the thing too. A lot of it happens online nowadays because.
What did you call them, Allie?
Keyboard warriors. I say they come out at night, and wow, I just read them. I never comment because oh my goodness, I would never. Like I'm afraid to even like something because they
are sitting there waiting for you to respond.
For sure.
I would never, like, if I see something online and I don't agree with it, or it's not how I might do things, I just keep on scrolling. Like unless it's something that is like really, harmful to someone, or like, really wrong. Like if it's just something that could be one way or the other.
Right. Works for their child and maybe not yours. Like, it's usually as simple as that.
It blows my mind that people actually take the time to comment. It's like, just keep moving.
Yeah. Have you nothing better to do with your time than jump on and attack other people's opinions online?
Yes.
If you don't agree with something, scroll on.
Yes. It's like there are some people on there seeking support, and they immediately just get shamed so quickly. For some reason, this thing pops up on my Facebook all the time called Life of Dad. I don't know if I accidentally followed them. I should probably check, but it pops up every day. It's literally just a Facebook group where a dad is meant to like write in a question, and then everybody can comment. Right. And, it's, these dads are actually, seeking support. The comments on there are awful. Like, the people just are attacking them. There's name calling. There's everything you can think of. Like, just putting the people down, like, like making these dads feel so stupid. And it's just like, wow.
That's awful. Why are people so vicious?
Yes. Like, that's one of the hard things about the internet now. It can be great for so many things, but it also, makes people brave as well, apparently.
Yeah. It's easy to hide behind a keyboard.
Oh, absolutely. Most of these, a lot of those things would never be said in person, but yes, they,
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Yeah, like you would never say it in person to anyone.
Yeah. It's like, apparently, I guess some people do. Some people make their little comments, but online it's the worst. People are writing paragraphs of just hate to people simply for asking something or, having an opposite opinion of theirs. It's awful now.
What worked great for you? You have a different family, you have a different home, you have a different child.
Yes.
That's great and that's awesome, but that might not absolutely work for someone else because they have a totally different situation from beginning to end.
And every single child is different.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Totally different.
Yeah. And so even for them, what worked for their first child might not work for their second child. I was going to
say, even for siblings, from one to the next, it's often very, very different. So...
Yeah. Ultimately, we're all just a bunch of mamas trying to do the best we can.
Honestly. Yes.
Trying to do the best we can.
Give me a break.
Cut a mama bear a break.
Mama bear.
Yeah, no, it's true. like that's what I always say. Like I would say to my husband when like some comments say, I was just like, what? Like especially when I first became a mom, and, you know, you just had a baby. Like, you know, one, your hormones are just out of control. As soon as you they warn you about hormones while you're pregnant, but not as soon as you have a child. They forget to tell you that part.
Yeah,
and that's when my hormones are at their worst, and I received some comments.
And when
oh my
everybody and their sister is going to come out and tell you how they did it.
Absolutely. And you just feel under a magnifying glass. And I remember telling my husband, I was just like, nope, I don't want anyone to come visit. I don't, like we're hiding away for a while.
You just want to be like, if I need help, I will ask for it. If I need advice, I will ask for it.
Yeah.
I'm already trying to figure all of this out myself.
Yes.
I don't need everybody telling me I'm doing everything wrong.
Yeah. So I just want to tell people, if I'm just going to call my mom and ask her. That's who I'm going to call.
Yeah.
So don't bother. I'm going to call my mom. Thank you. I'm going to call my mom. So don't bother. I know. I remember forget what someone saying, like just like right after my son was born, she's like, oh, it's too bad you can't breastfeed. It's too bad you can't breastfeed. It's just like, oh my goodness, the story behind why I can is awful. And it's just like, well, thank you for just your constant reminders. You know,
see,
people just are, they're not being, exactly. They're just not being mindful. And breastfeeding is one of the biggest ones, hands down.
Definitely.
And people are, they're not mindful for either side. Because, you know, breastfeeding is outrageously hard. So
you get mom shamed for not breastfeeding, and then you get mom shaming for breastfeeding because,
too long, or not long enough.
Or
people get offended about breastfeeding, and then it's just like,
where you do it. It's like,
oh, absolutely,
like you're out with your child. People get very offended if you breastfeed in public. Like, sorry, do you want me to just tell my baby to just wait? Until we get home? Like, what the heck?
Yeah.
So it's like
you can watch me or listen to my child scream in your face. I don't know, whichever.
Yeah. Now, people just need to not assume that if somebody is not breastfeeding their child, it's not because they're lazy or they're self-conscious about their boobies.
Right.
Yeah. You know, it could be just that they have tried and tried and tried and it's not working, or they're just not producing enough, or there's something like you have no idea why. And maybe they feel like less of a mom because of it.
And, and then people make you feel that way for sure. Like even the nurses in the hospital, some of them are just absolutely amazing. Most of them are, but some of them really push it on you. And you know, even if you simply just don't want to breastfeed, it's like, that's okay. Like let's why you're
exactly.
Let's all just feed our babies. Like, who cares how? Oh my goodness! Like,
and even like when we were growing up, I think most people didn't breastfeed. Like when we were younger,
for sure.
I know I was formula fed. Candace was formula fed, and now it's like the complete because back in the day,
you remember that.
I remember being formula fed. I do. I remember that bubble. Did I say I remember?
No, you just said I was pregnant. I'm thinking, really? Because I don't remember.
Mom told me we were formula fed. We were both formula fed. Mom just chose not to breastfeed, and that was
like my mom. She totally just chose for all 5 of us to be formula fed. It was not like as big of a back then. My mom always said, she's like, no one cared. No one even talked about it. She's like, I can't believe the fights that break out over this now.
I know. And even back in the day, I think it was more of like, oh, you can formula feed, like you can afford that. Like it was like a big deal people did. I feel like that was the thing to do, was to formula feed, because people thought it was like awesome. And then I feel like nowadays the tables have turned where people are like complete opposite.
No, I totally agree. Because I feel like I have to explain myself for not breastfeeding. I feel like I constantly have to explain why. Well, my kids are older now, but why I did not. And that's because, that's how you're made to feel now. You're made to feel like you have to explain why you did not breastfeed.
Because I chose not to. Okay?
Yeah, absolutely. For Camden, that was totally like, Jet, I could not, and Camden, I chose not. And I've always felt like I totally have to justify it and explain it. I'm more confident now. I think that's how you learn to deal with mom sharing. Just, be confident in your decisions, stand by them. Like, don't make yourself uncomfortable to make other people comfortable, and that's something I learned, took years, and, comments do still bother me, of course. I'm only human, but compared to when Jet was first born 5 years ago to how I handle them now, it is totally different. You just have to be confident, especially when you see your kids just like, I must have done something right. So, you know what you say,
let it roll off your back. Haters gonna hate.
Easier said than done, I know, but no, it definitely, it takes time for sure.
Yeah.
It totally takes time. And when you're a new mom, you're already questioning everything. Anyway.
Absolutely.
So when people are questioning you to your face. It's
Absolutely.
not a good
And just telling you, you know, a different way to do it than how you're literally doing it right there in front of them.
Yeah,
It's just
exactly.
like, oh,
Yeah.
you know, it just makes you feel bad, really. It just makes you feel like you're not doing a great job. It's just like all you're trying to do is, you know, the best you absolutely can.
Yeah, exactly. That's all you're doing. You're giving it your all.
Yeah, for sure.
All of us are in the same boat. So
Yeah,
why-
absolutely. I know. Like, why not be like that's like I just want to be that person that, you know, people like moms can literally cry to guilt free and you know, just tell me all their problems, you know, and know that you're, you know, I'm not going to judge you at all. Like that's how it should be, because behind closed doors, I guarantee we're all going through at least similar things, you know. So
100%.
Yeah, we have no idea. Absolutely no idea.
Yeah. And it just continues on and on.
It does. Like screen time. That's another big one.
Oh,
That's a big one.
That's a big one now, of course.
Yeah, now like that's
yes.
Or very opinionated one way or the other, or
they see your child with a phone in their hand, or and you immediately feel the judgment, like, oh, is that your babysitter?
I
know, like that, as if that phone that they're on for 10, 15 minutes is raising them. Like, God forbid, I just want to eat. Sorry.
Exactly. Me personally, I think I don't have any issues with it. I think that, of course, you want to monitor it, and you don't want to have the phone or the iPad or the TV raising your child. You want to be monitoring what they're doing. But I think that it's a great educational tool.
It definitely can be. 100%.
Totally can be. Yes.
Ultimately, we're raising kids in a different time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So everything is digital. They're going to have screens in their face for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's, again, like you said, Tan, monitoring it, because there are a lot of dangers out there. There are a lot of things you still have to have safeguards in place, and monitoring what your kids are looking at and all those things, definitely 100%. But this is the world that they're going to be growing up in. Yeah. So, and I mean, you definitely want to still make sure that they're having, you know, somewhat limited time, because they're also still kids. They still need to get outside and get dirty and, you know, have childhoods and things like that.
Yeah.
But it also can, like, I'm thinking about when my kids were toddlers and, you know, preschool and things like that. If they had like the apps and things that little kids have now, they probably would have been so much further ahead when they went to school with their alphabets and things like that. Like, I remember tears at the dining room table with the alphabet in my son. It was painful.
Yeah.
And I just say, how much more could they have learned if they had fun tools,
like interactive tools?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
like
I
what
totally
they have
see the
now.
benefit of the electronics, to be honest. Like even in Jet's junior kindergarten class, they have iPads. It's like Tuesday is JK Boy iPad time. You know, like that's the world they're living in now. So you know, that's just, you know, that's what we're dealing with now. And why, like, just we hopped on board for sure. Like both of our kids, I know, like use their iPad, and you know, we have the apps on there for them, and I totally see the benefit to them. I understand for sure, you know, people monitoring it 100%, you know, you don't want your kids to never see daylight and never, you know, you don't you want them to still, you know, but I totally see, like, you know, I saw on Facebook, a friend of mine that her kids were watching on the iPads, and her and her sister were like, we're totally finally having a conversation with each other, hadn't seen each other. You know, I can just imagine the tables around them, though. You know what they were saying, and it's just like, well, why not? Like, these kids they're watching a movie while their moms catch up. Like, you know, that's okay. Like,
and let's face it, you put on Looney Tunes or cartoons or whatever else for us when we were kids.
I mean, definitely, that's such a good point.
Yeah,
like,
and
what's
now
the
it's a
difference?
huge deal.
Yeah, like why is the TV so different than, you know, having these, you know, these apps and the videos that the kids are watching? You know, like it's really not that different.
Yeah,
except there actually are more educational tools on these. So.
Yeah, exactly. But some people are on the total opposite side of the fence of this.
Yeah. And you know what? And that's okay. You have to do what's right for your kid.
Yeah.
Everybody has their own convictions and things that they just 100% aren't okay with, and they want to raise their kids this way.
For sure.
And you know what? All the power to you. Do what you want to do. And that's fantastic. You don't let anybody tell you otherwise.
Yeah.
But don't turn around and shame somebody else who's not doing it your way because you think that you understand everything about it.
For
you know,
sure.
whether it's screen time or something else.
Yeah.
Do what you want to do as a mom yourself with your kids on what makes you feel like you're doing a good job as a mom.
For sure.
But let somebody else do the same.
Oh, definitely. This goes back to just like people think their opinions just means that they're automatically right. It's just, it's just different, you know? We just have two different opinions. Nobody's right, in fact. So just let each other do what you want, you know?
Like it's sad that you always have to have your guard up. Like I know anytime, like if we're out with Ivy, she's at the stage where she doesn't want to sit in a high chair. She doesn't want to sit in a stroller. She doesn't want to be buckled down. She wants to explore. She loves the word no. Candace witnessed that yesterday. She must have said no like 100 plus times yesterday. But sometimes, like if we're out and she just will not sit still or just wants to run around, and I can give her like some app that she's going to learn from is going to help her just sit there for a few minutes while like we get situated or something. I don't see an issue with that, but it's unfortunate that if I do that, I feel like there's 100 people's eyes staring through me.
Oh yeah,
like,
just give her the iPhone.
Yeah, I feel like everyone is looking at me like, wow, great parenting, or just assuming that that's all she does all day. She just sits on there all day. It's like,
exactly.
No, she absolutely does not.
Yes.
But if I can use it, like, to help me in situations,
like
I will.
Yeah, say something. Say something. I want you to say something.
All I'm trying to do is trick my toddler into sitting in a high chair. So I'm going to put this in front of her so she'll watch it, and I slowly put her in the high chair. That's all I'm doing, okay? We all try and trick our kids like this. That's all we're trying to do.
We're all just masters of trickery.
Yes.
That's all this is. That's all mom life is. Masters of trickery.
Absolutely.
How can I trick them into doing what I want them to do?
Exactly.
Just trying to make her just look at this for a second and just,
look.
Yeah.
Exactly. But that's how it is now. You totally just like, you know, you always feel eyes on you. It's like, no
matter what you do.
And no matter what age your kids go to, you have older kids, you have teenage kids, and I'm sure, you know.
It's still, like, you know, if you're, okay, so I'm pretty blessed because my kids are good kids, but they're not perfect. So there have been times where my kid is acting out or my kid has done something out in public where I'm just like, oh my gosh. And you immediately feel embarrassed. You immediately feel like everybody is blaming you for their behavior.
Right.
And I can tell you that we have that, like, it's not always the case when people automatically assume, okay, they see, and there's people in my life who are very close to me who have teenage kids who have gone off and done, you know, all sorts of things that just are absolutely breaking the mom's heart.
Yeah.
Right.
And everybody who's out there that are ready to make their own judgments and form their own opinions are immediately assuming, oh, well, that's lack of parenting, lack of discipline in the home, lack of guidance and everything else. And I can tell you that is not the case.
For sure. Yeah.
Every kid, every teenager deals with teenage life and these choices that they're faced every day, especially in today's day and age.
Yes.
They are their own people and they're making their own decisions in their own life.
They have their own free will, just like we do.
Exactly. Like regardless of the upbringing that they were brought up in, like myself included.
Yeah,
we grew up in a Christian home, and it was very structured. It was very, you know, what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong.
Right.
And I was a very rebellious teenager. I wasn't raised without discipline. I wasn't raised without guidance, but I chose to make all the wrong decisions and learn the hard way.
Right.
And that was my choice, right? So, but I wonder how many people, you know, made judgments about me when they saw me off being a rebellious teenager. Said, oh, well, where's the parents?
Right. Yeah.
You know, and it's like, and if you only knew, it was my mom was probably at home crying, praying for me.
Right.
So it was, you know, like when you're so quick to judge from the time that you're pregnant or they're babies to continuing when they're teenagers. People are so quick to judge think that you know everything there is to know about the story. And if you have ever, as a mom, felt that you've done anything wrong or you've beat yourself up for making wrong choices or where did I go wrong or something like that, have that. You need to have some grace or mercy from the mom that's on the other side of that kid who you're judging because you think that she could have done a better job.
Right. Yeah.
You know, we're all just trying to figure out this momhood life, this job that is the hardest job you'll ever have in your life. Yeah. And none of us are perfect at it. None of us have all the answers. but we need to have grace for each other and stop being so freaking judgmental.
Yeah. Yes, because none of us are perfect. We're all going to make mistakes, and our kids are all going to look back and remind us. I'm sure they'll laugh about it, but everyone just has these expectations that apparently we all need to be perfect now. We all have to be perfect. It's, it's ridiculous. The expectations now. It's like you can't make a mistake. Someone's watching. You cannot make a mistake from the time you're pregnant until
jump on you and remind you.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. Perfect example of this. I was walking through the food court a few weeks ago at the mall, and there was this girl walking in front of me, and she was just dressed up. Like, it was like she was in a costume. She's wearing huge platform shoes. She was dressed like she looked like a doll. Like, she had this little dress on, and she was just like, it looked like she was wearing a costume.
Oh, okay.
And I was walking right behind her. And just as she walked past this group of people, I heard this one man say, "Wow, where are her parents?"
Oh.
And I was like, wow, what a judgmental comment
just
to
like
say.
that, right?
Yeah,
like one glimpse of someone. One glimpse of someone.
Yeah, she just walked past them. And I was like, if I heard that, she definitely heard that.
Right.
And I was like, wow, like, that's harsh. You have no idea, like, where she comes from, what's going on in her life, what her family life is like, anything. But it's unfortunate to see.
Yes, for sure. And, there are some moms that are, didn't do a great job. There are kids that are going to have stories, that their moms were not present or didn't exist or made lots of mistakes. But, honestly, nobody knows though. Like, you don't know other people's stories. Like, behind every person, they have their own story. And I don't think people realize, their words, you're probably triggering someone. You're ruining someone's day. Like, why do it?
Maybe not just their day. Honestly, your words could echo in their minds for the rest of their lives.
For sure. I remember specifically with certain put downs and things like that. I can literally hear it when I think about it. I can picture, I can hear it. And this is 100%. Over years. So
yeah, definitely. So even if it is the situation where a mom or dad was not the greatest parent, instead of judging that kid or saying, look at there's no hope for that kid.
Right.
What can you do to make a difference in that kid?
Honestly.
Clearly that kid was dealt a crappy hand of cards.
Yeah.
Instead of passing judgment on that teenager or a child, what can you do to maybe just say, you don't have to go and it doesn't have to be anything extravagant. Can you just go and give that kid an encouraging word?
Right. Yeah.
Because you may be the only person that they ever hear that from.
Right.
Even more so if they're in the situation where they did not have supportive parents. Maybe their parents are drug addicts. Maybe their parents, their dad's in jail. They never met their dad and their mom's an alcoholic.
Right.
Yeah.
Or, whatever. You have no idea.
Or even just say a silent prayer to yourself for them. You know
exactly.
What I mean?
If you can't bring yourself to say something to them, instead of passing judgment, what would Jesus do?
Yeah.
You're putting in the
Party
effort
rockers,
to
what would Jesus do?
Yeah.
What would he say to them? Or what can you, like Tan said, just a silent little prayer. God, meet that kid where they're at. Would you, provide to them what they need in that time? Just something. Just starting to train ourselves to not pass judgment and try to be a little bit more graceful.
Yeah, put your efforts into something positive, if you're taking time of your day to judge and, put these people down, put someone down, like, put your efforts into something, uplifting, build these people up. Like, that's what I mean. Like, it was International Women's Day the other day, and all I could think about, like, to me, that meant, building other women up. And, like, everyone seems to be in competition with each other. Yeah. Nobody's, like, not everybody, of course, but, it's such a big thing now, like, moms just in competition with each other, it seems like. And that's what, just build each other up. Put your efforts into that, encouraging and, being supportive.
Tearing someone else is not going to lift yourself up. Or
set
you any further ahead or change anything in your life. Like, it's not going to change your reality by tearing someone else down or by thinking negative thoughts about them to make yourself feel better. It's not going to change anything.
For sure.
And it's not like any one of us are completely innocent of it. I know myself for sure. Like, sometimes you just have to, it's a reprogramming. You have to constantly remind yourself, because sometimes your first reaction is to quickly pass a judgment about something. We're human. We're going to do that, right?
Yeah.
I know I'm guilty of that. Yeah. But it's immediately recognizing it then right away and be like, you know what? And having that conviction of, like, who am I to judge? I have no idea what's going on in that person's life.
For sure.
So it's if you find yourself doing it, if you find yourself mom shaming, just catch yourself.
For sure,
right?
Yes. I
And
remember
that's
apologizing to my friend once and telling her, I didn't use the word mom shaming, but I apologized to her for using the word bossy because I was, I thought I was giving advice, but when I really thought about it, I was like, no, I was like totally putting, I felt like I was, putting down what she was doing, kind of forcing what I thought was the right thing. Like when the time I thought it was advice, I felt awful after. And I did apologize for it. So it's just, being self-aware and just mindful of maybe what that person is going through, or even if it's not like anything extreme they're going through, you really can, it affects them for sure.
Definitely.
I know it affected me. So
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. I know there have been times where I've said things to people and then after I thought about it and I'm like, I feel like now that I'm thinking about it, that could have totally like came off different than how I meant it.
Right.
Or and like if it sticks with us, it must be sticking with them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, if this is bothering me, it's probably really bothering them.
Right.
Yeah. And yeah, you just have to own up to it. Apologize.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
It's the best thing you can do in situations like that. If you catch yourself, you're only human. It's just, be humble and apologize.
Exactly.
You feel better, they feel better, rather than sitting there trying to convince yourself that it was okay. What you did was right, just humble yourself,
Be woman enough to own when you've made a mistake.
Yes, because we're all guilty of it. It's just about being self-aware, and learning from it. And if you have the chance, apologize if you did do it. An apology goes a long way. As corny as it sounds, apologies totally still do go a long way.
Yeah, they definitely do. It justifies the person's feelings.
Absolutely. Yes, for sure.
We all feel so guilty when our child or like young kid or teenager or child of any age does something to hurt someone else or does or says something that was hurtful, or like you just feel horrible. So I feel like we're hard enough on ourselves.
Absolutely.
We don't need someone else.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that when your kid does make a mistake, everybody's eyes are on you to see how are you going to handle this.
For sure.
And I feel,
I'm
like
almost
it's
thinking
hard.
more about that than actually dealing with the situation. Like that's what it's like now. And it shouldn't be like that. You know?
I find it very hard to parent in public. If Ivy's throwing a tantrum or throwing out the word no 100 times, it's like, I don't really know how to handle this. Cause like, if I'm at home, I would say, Ivy, like, stop it. That's enough.
For sure.
Or, like, Ivy, like, we need to stop this now, or we need to do this, or it's time to do this. Whereas I feel like in public, everyone's watching you. And it's like, I feel like all I have to do is just diffuse the situation very quickly and move on. Like, I feel like I can't parent the way I would want to when people are watching.
Or I make my husband totally just deal with it because he deals with it so much better. And
so I'm going to say, I'm just going to put it, and I know this is 2019, whatever, judge me all you want. Hopefully you won't, because we're mom shaming. But my kids were spanked. And it was like, when they were little, it was, obviously spanking wasn't for everything. It's like, it wasn't a discipline for everything. It was, it was a serious offense.
Yeah.
And it was a structured thing. So it wasn't like out of anger. It was this is what you've done. You need to go to your room. I'll be there in a minute. They knew what was coming. So I'd go up and I'd say, stand up, turn around, and they'd take their punishment on the bum. And then afterwards, we would say, now listen, what are we going to do to make sure that this doesn't happen again? I love you. It was, and then we ended it with a hug and everything. So they received the punishment, the discipline. We talked about it. There was love. It was under control. It was all of those things.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you spank your kids in that way, then you spank your kids. If that's what you want to do. If you choose not to spank your kids, then don't spank your kids.
Yeah.
Everybody, I mean, everything, if you do choose to spank your kids, it has to be 100% under control, not out of anger. Yeah. I firmly, my belief is that it needs to be on the bum only. Yeah. You don't hit anywhere else. That's not what I'm saying. That like spanking is, a couple spanks on the bum. Yeah. Enough for them to know they've done wrong and that it stings a little bit and it hurts. I don't know. I'm old school in a lot of ways, but my kids are also a little bit older.
Spanking me.
Yeah, and we survived, right?
Yeah.
I was spanked with the belt.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah,
And
I
I
remember Dad
survived.
spanking me with the belt.
I knew what was too
Yeah.
far, what was too,
Yeah.
you know, and
But I mean, we would push way too far at that
Yeah.
point, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was done. Like, we really pushed past our
But
boundaries.
when they were like toddlers and things like that, and we were in public, like you were saying, I totally felt the judgment, like people were watching on how I was going to handle it. But at the same time, I was like, I don't really care what you think of how I'm handling this right now. I've left shopping carts full of groceries and threw my kid over my shoulder and walked out with him kicking and screaming on my shoulder. And I'm just like, go ahead, pass judgment on me. I don't. If you think you can do a better job, here.
Yeah.
Like,
I literally
raise
did
him
that
until
with
he's
Ivy
perfect,
a few weeks
and
ago.
then bring him back to me.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I took her grocery shopping, and she was just not behaving whatsoever. So I picked her up, and we left. I was like, nope.
Yeah.
And she was not happy because she likes being at the grocery store. Like, it's fun for her to, like, run around and look at things, and she was not happy. And I was like, you weren't listening. It's time to go. Like, nope. This is not happening.
They have to know that there's not a payoff for their behavior, right?
But now it's just like with, you know, the way people make you feel, it's like you can't parent the way you want to. Is you know, that's the whole thing.
You better discipline him. You better address it, but don't address it too much or you're abusive.
That's it,
right? So what's the happy medium?
There's always, it's always like that. You know, with every topic. It's always just like with breastfeeding. It's just like you're offending people if you're breastfeeding in public, but it's the, you know, apparently, you know, the healthier choice to breast, you know, like there's just, it's just like, oh my goodness, there's no winning now.
It's almost
there
like
is
you
no
feel
winning
like
now.
as soon as your kid starts throwing a tantrum or acting out in any way in public, it's like everybody in the whole space all of a sudden sits down with a big old bag of popcorn and starts watching. Let's see how this all plays out. I want to see how this goes down and how she's going to handle this because I'm going to talk about it after.
And if I see that happening to a mom, I feel like I try to like make eye contact with them and just like smile at them or say like,
I say sometimes also, to make, like, you know, you're not alone. It's just, I always say if it wasn't yours, it would be mine. You know, that's something I always like to say.
Better. Don't make them feel any worse.
They're already dying inside with embarrassment of oh my God, you know, and it's because that automatic feeling is because we all, I feel like, are groomed to know we're going to be mom shamed no matter what happens, right?
For sure.
Like, I wonder what they were like in like the 40s and 50s and everything. If you didn't spank your kid, the neighbor was gonna.
Exactly.
The cashier at the checkout was gonna spank your kid.
No, it's
if
so
you
different.
didn't.
I think 2019 is certainly, my mom always says, like, you know, things were not like this when, you know, we were young. Like, you know, my mom they always say, like, never worried about, you know, what the other moms were doing or thinking or anything. She's just like, mom shaming is definitely a new thing, but it's just getting worse and worse, I find. You know, when I see things online and, you know, hear stories like even within families, you know, the people in your family, you know, just the comments that happen, it's, you know, it's so disheartening, but
it is. And the list goes on and on and on and on about things. It could be immunizations. It could be homeschooling. It could be like, you know, it just, what you let your kids wear, what you let your kids listen to, it goes on and on and on.
Yeah.
What was something you felt like most mom shamed about, do you think?
Like, I have a few. I remember being asked how it was possible I could breastfeed because the person didn't think I had big enough boobs.
What?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm serious. Someone asked how is it possible?
Says that?
Yeah.
Honest to God.
Like, how is that possible you're breastfeeding?
Wow.
I have bigger boobs than you do was exactly the line that was said to me.
Wow.
Yeah, like I feel like sometimes I get mom shamed because Ivy's 2 and she still uses her pacifier.
Right.
But I just, you know, I have other things that I'm focusing on with her right now. And like that is one thing that's just not like I can let that go right now. Yeah. Like I'm working on other things with her.
So pick your battles, people, and let them be kids.
Honestly, like what? Like even just pointing it out, like it all feels like, okay, so you're judging me then. Like even just pointing it out, like I feel like it's like, okay, so I'm being judged then. Great, you know.
Or being asked, like even when you're pregnant, like, are you sure there's 2 kids in there? Or are you sure you only have 1 baby in there?
Yes. Like thank you, but thanks for telling me how gigantic I am.
Actually, my sister who just had her baby on Saturday, just a few days before that, a man said to her in the store, like, oh, that's a healthy baby in there. He said to her, just like, wow, like, thank you. Like, he's totally just like implying that, you know, she must be, you know, that baby's ready, you know, there's a big baby in there. Yeah. It's just like, this is a stranger. Like, you're just walking by each other. Like, this man said this to her. It's just like, why do people have such confidence now to just make this? So, like, that comment to you is outrageous. Yeah. Where do people find the confidence? Like,
because that woman needs more help feeling more gigantic than she already feels right now at this point, because she feels so good about, you know, how nothing fits and how she's got stretch marks and how, you know, her body is,
and how just difficult thanks for adding on to that. People think breastfeeding's easy. Yeah. No, it's like not.
The most struggle, like,
for sure.
That was like the most difficult. I was only able to breastfeed for 6 months, but that was such a difficult 6 months, and I had to really like stick with it and talk myself into not giving up every day, because it was not easy. For like you have no idea what, and some people it comes totally just easy for them and naturally, and that's amazing. Yes. It just happens different for everyone. And, you know, some people have tried and just couldn't.
For sure, yeah.
But yeah, totally just building on the like 100 things that you're already like worried about in your mind.
Yeah, no, that's a crazy one. Like,
Do you have one?
Yeah, when I first had Jet, you know, it was just like the same person just saying to me, oh, it's really too bad you can't breastfeed. You know, like that has always stuck with me. I just remember it's just like, you're so hard. I was so hard on myself anyways. Another thing now, like just like years later with like Jet being a bit older and Camden's 2 now. And, but I feel like this has kind of actually always gone on, but it's just like Mark and I, our parenting styles, like, we're super, like, protective. Like, I joke about myself. I'll call myself a helicopter mom. Like, I joke about it, you know, because, like, we're very protective. Like, we have, like, strict boundaries and, you know, we're very cautious of, like, supervision and, like, who watches them, who's around them, what they're exposed to. Like, we're all about that. Like, we're very, like, very protective of them. Yeah. And, like, and that's the end. I'll own it. Like, I totally call myself a helicopter mom if that's what I am. That's fine. But I feel like, I feel like I've been very criticized for it. And, you know, I've had some, like, I've been made to feel very self-conscious about it. But like I said, you know, the older my kids have gotten, I kind of see who they've become. So it's like, you know what? I must have done something right. Like, my confidence has built to the point where it's just like, this is how I parent. If, you know, I don't care what you think. That's totally, you know, that's what I'm really working, you know. It's a daily thing working towards having that attitude, but most days I do have that attitude now. Yeah. But that is what stands out for me the most, is just like, wow, like that's our parenting style. Like, if that's not how you did it, that's fine. But, you know, keep your comments to I didn't ask. Keep your comments to yourself. I didn't ask, you know, like I said, if I want advice, I'm going to call my mom. You know, like that's one that stood out to me for sure, though. It's just like, you know, you can joke, like my sister jokes about me all the time being a helicopter mom. Like our parenting styles, like, you know, they're so similar but so different. Yeah. But I have 3 sisters, and which are all moms. One's a mom to be, and, you know, I know we're all 4 of us going to be so different, but we joke with each other, you know, and that you know, we cry with each other, joke with each other, you know, and that's fine. Yeah. It's just like, you know, but to make me, you know, it's, you know, harsh criticism is different. You know, the comments, the put, you know, literally the put downs and making you feel like what you're doing is wrong, and you know, that's not okay in my books.
No, not at all.
But yeah, those are the ones that stood up to me.
Yeah, exactly. You just always get judgment for parenting style.
Oh, definitely. And I see it online too, like the same thing, just no matter what the styles, whether it's helicopter mom or, you know, too easygoing, you know, there's so many different avenues to go down, but, you know, and everyone's getting judged for their style.
You just want to say, you know what, back up off of me.
Yeah.
Like, let me just back up off of me.
Honestly, like,
hold your rope.
Yes, and it's so funny because I feel like most people say I ended up being a completely different kind of mom than I ever expected. Like, I thought I would be more easygoing than I am. Yeah. No, I'm not. You know, and I've realized, you know what, that's okay, regardless of what's, you know, some people have said.
We're all figuring it out as we go.
Yes.
And we all just need to let each other do that.
Yes. Let us learn. Like, let us make the mistakes, you know. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Like, that's okay, you know.
Yeah. And things change too. Like, when you have, for example, people over at your house, what you might do when people are over is totally different than things you do with your kid when people aren't there. So I always find it hurtful, like if people say comments, so assuming things when they really have no idea what your actual day typically looks like. And,
yes.
When we're not in our normal routine, things are definitely thrown off.
Yeah, for sure.
But people are very quick to judge, like, oh, this is what your everyday looks like.
For sure.
It's absolutely not what my everyday
Okay,
looks
so
like.
I'm also going to flip it really quick on, like, so we talk about how we think everybody's doing it wrong, I think we also get down on ourselves thinking, oh, look look at how amazing of a job they're doing with their kids, right?
Yeah.
So if anybody has ever thought, and I don't know if anybody has, but if anybody has ever thought that about me, of how I've got it, together, because my kids are pretty good kids, they are. But if anybody has thought it's because I've got it figured out, let me tell you, there are days where it is World War II in this house, okay? Like, it is not all together.
Yeah.
And by far from all together. So don't let anybody who thinks or puts on this show that, they're this perfect family, everything's great. Because I guarantee you, behind closed doors, things are not always 100%
Nobody's letting each
perfect.
other completely in. So nobody, really knows. And that's the thing, as confident as, I am confident in our parenting stuff. It's just, that doesn't mean we're not also making mistakes. It doesn't mean, like everyone is, and that's the thing. And everyone looks on, it's another thing, coming back again to online things, people are only posting and talking about, for the most part, they're the positive parts of their life. Nobody's posting, the struggle, the daily, the challenges. People aren't
Look
posting
at the chaos that is my life today.
Yes, like there's some people aren't. It's like, it's like, why you're being like, they're so vulnerable and they can do it. But from what I see, most people aren't. And so, but I'm guilty of it too, looking at things like that and just thinking, wow, like, the picture perfect family and things. Just you really have to remember, like, nobody is. Nobody's got it all together.
Exactly.
Like, I love when people post like the Instagram versus reality photos.
Yes, absolutely, and that's a real, totally a real thing.
Second, this is how the last 5 minutes actually looked, and then this one picture that was this split second is what you're seeing.
I have 1,000 pictures in my camera roll before that were disasters.
And when I'm taking this nice little picture of my family, I've cropped out the dirty laundry on the floor.
Right.
Exactly. Oh my gosh. Like, I've got Apple on my ceiling. I don't know how Apple got on my ceiling. I'm pretty sure there was a fight. I don't know. Between Jake and Chloe. I don't know. Maybe between Andy and one of the kids throwing apples. I have no idea. But this is the reality of family life. And,
I just want to come to a point where all those things are just normal, where, you don't feel like, your house has to be spotless, dinner has to be cooking so they can smell it, because someone's going to ask you, like, I just want, all these things just go away. Like, everyone just know that that's not how it is. And
I'm lucky if I find time to grocery shop.
Seriously, let's just sit in each other's messy houses and order in food and our kids, listen to our kids have tantrums in the background. But that's not how it is now. It's it's crazy. Just how you feel like you have to have it together all the time. And I think people are struggling. Like, it's hard to keep up with that. Now, you can wear on you for sure, I think.
I do not have it all together.
Me either.
Not in the slightest. There are days where I go to sleep and thinking I am just destroying my children's lives. I just, where did I go wrong? I'm such a horrible mom. It's, we get down on ourselves for everything. And, if we can just help each other just that slightest little bit, to not feel like everybody else feels as bad about us as we do about ourselves.
Right.
Then, maybe we can just come alongside each other and just help each other out just a little.
Yep.
Let's keep it real, guys.
Yeah, because it feels better when you can just let it all out to someone and they, and they understand, and then, they are vulnerable back, it's just, you don't feel you just don't feel alone in that moment, It can really make such a difference for someone. And
And if you don't have kids yet, and you look at everybody else that has kids and you say, I will not be that kind of parent. I can't believe that their kids are like that. All of us are looking at you going,
because we've all been there.
You wait.
And
we've
all thought those things too.
But it's funny. It's often the people without kids, the comments they have for you're like, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, where did that come from?
Yeah, actually, though, like where is that coming from?
Yeah.
you don't understand yet. Like, don't make me feel awful. You don't get it yet. You will, and you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. But
it's like with anything in life, like unless you've truly experienced it yourself, and even if you have experienced it, your experience was likely different than the other person.
Yes.
You cannot comment.
Yeah.
Women supporting women, babes supporting babes, mamas supporting the mamas.
Yes,
mamas
definitely.
for mamas.
Yes, mamas for mamas, and I like that.
Yes,
Mom. Moms for moms.
Mom.
Oh man,
You're awesome.
Like, I just want to know, like, what Mama G sits here thing when you guys do this. Like, that's what I call your mom.
Yeah.
So, what Gail thinks, she's just like, oh, my girl. That's them.
It probably doesn't even phase her. It's just normal.
Oh, yeah, she's probably, right? She's like, oh, yeah, they're there. They're there.
Exactly.
This is normal.
This is us.
Yeah.
This is us. All right, guys, should we wrap this up?
Let's wrap it.
Let's
wrap it up.
Should we tie a little bow on top of this?
Yep.
What's the moral
Finish her up.
of our episode? The moral of our episode is be kind to one another.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Be kind to one another. Be kind to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to
None
be
of
a
us have it
keyboard
figured out.
warrior, be a keyboard warrior for support
Honestly,
and encouragement.
yes. Put that effort into something positive, you know.
Yeah.
Be mindful of what possibly someone's going through, you know. Just, be aware.
Yeah.
Like,
Just always know you don't know everything.
Absolutely.
You don't know
Just like
everything
we
that's
don't know
going
everything.
on.
You
Yeah.
don't know everything.
Yeah.
Nobody does.
And if you
know?
catch yourself doing that,
Yeah.
it's okay. We all will.
Mhm.
If you catch yourself passing judgment, just catch yourself. Like
Sure.
just stop it and
Be more aware
switch
next
your
time.
thinking
Yes,
and just
for sure.
just come alongside that mom that you see that is like having a complete
Mhm.
like dying inside
Yeah,
in the grocery
absolutely.
store
Yeah.
and just ask her, is there if I can do to help you, or
Yeah,
just something, or just
Mhm.
like you said, Allie, if it wasn't yours, it was mine.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
something to tell her it's okay. Nobody is passing judgment on you. We've all
Yeah.
been there.
Yes.
It's okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That
Just catch
that
yourself,
helps
guys.
huge.
It
That helps
does.
huge. Just
Yeah.
knowing that there's one person that totally is like near you that just gets it.
Yes. Yes.
Just totally helps huge.
For
Definitely.
sure. Just remember, we are all just doing our best.
Or just
you
a
know?
smile.
Honestly,
Just a smile, even, because
Yeah,
that can
for
tell that
sure.
mom that
Mhm.
you're not judging her.
Yeah.
You're just like, I'm sorry, girlfriend. I feel your pain.
Yeah.
Honestly,
You know?
yes.
It's
And if
just,
you can't do that, then just mind your business. That's
Honestly,
all.
yes.
it's all just bad
Mind your business.
Yes, that is great advice. Yes, feed your children however you want to,
Yeah.
and don't care. Like, just
Yeah.
feed them. Like, that's what it should be.
Keep them alive.
Yes, everyone's just doing their best, trying
Yeah.
to day by day. You know, don't make anyone's day harder. You know, like
Yeah.
we're already being hard on ourselves. Don't make it any harder.
Exactly.
Exactly. Honest to God.
Yeah, honestly.
Well, thank you for having me on, ladies.
Oh my gosh, we're so stoked to have you on here today, and it will not be the last time that you hear from Allie. I'm sure there's going to be several topics that we'll want her chiming in on as well.
Oh, yes. So, guys, leave us some comments. What have you been mom shamed for?
Mm-hmm.
What have you maybe caught yourself mom shaming for?
Mhm.
You're not alone in that. We are all in the same boat.
Yep, for sure.
Just being self-aware.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Being self-aware, it's huge. Being self-aware and catching yourself or spreading encouragement.
Yeah.
Yep.
Be kind to one another, guys.
Be kind to one another.
So listen, subscribe, like, comment, and share. If you like what you hear,
Yeah. Share
tell
it
your
with
friends.
people. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your people that we here.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Thanks
Our potty
for-
people.
Yep. Thanks for
Potty rockers.
subscribing, potty people. We appreciate it. If you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out.
Follow us on Insta.
Yeah, you can find us on Instagram. We are Honest to God Podcast, at Honest to God Podcast on Instagram. Again, I'm Tanya. You can find me on Instagram at TanSauter.
And I'm Candace. You can find me on Instagram at CanLoist.
Well, my account's private, so I wouldn't bother looking for you.
This is Allie in the flesh.
Oh gosh. Never to be seen again.
Yeah.
She's vanishing off here.
Oh my.
All right, potty people, we out.
Peace out, body people.
Peace out.
Thanks for listening, guys.
See you guys.
Bye.
Till next time.
Bye.